Hello, friends of Sudoku. The weather today is awful, and I did hike 15 kilometers yesterday, so I'm taking a little bit of a rest today. So I thought, why not see what we can do with today's New York Times medium level Sudoku puzzle. Let's see what we have. Well, we have a couple of 8s blocking across in the bottom chute, and that, of course, gives us an 8 for this square here. We also have 2 8s blocking up and down in the rightmost chute, and that gives us an 8 for this square. Now we have 2 8s blocking across here, and we have an 8 blocking up here, so an 8 must go here. The only 2 8s missing are going to be either here or here or here or here. The 4s seem to be pretty restricted. We have a 4 in one of these squares here because of these 2 4s blocking across. This 4, however, blocks up, so this is where the 4 must go. There's a 5 here, which forces a 5 to go in this square here. And these 3 squares now must be a 2, 4, and a 7. We do have a 2 and a 7 in this row, so here is the 4. We got a 1, 3, and a 9 here. That means that a 1 and a 3 must find homes in these 3 squares. Since we do have a 1 and a 9 blocking this square, we know that it must be a 3, and these are now a 1 and a 9. And defining this 3 here, we now see that this 1 blocks up, this 1 blocks across, so this must be a 1. We got a 9 blocking across here and down, so this is a 9, of course. Here now a 5 and a 6. We do have a 5 in the row, so here is the 6 and here's 5. A 4 must go in one of these 2 squares. We also need a 2 and a 7. And let's see, 7, no, 2 blocks up. 2, 2, oh, hang on, 2 blocks across here and here. No, I can't do much with those, not yet. We need a 2, 4, and a 7 for these 3 squares. There's a 2 and a 7 blocking this square, which therefore becomes a 4. Now we have 2 and 7 here and here. We know that one of these squares must be a 9, don't we? Now where can we place a 9 in column 1? It clearly can't go here, here, or here because of this 9. It also can't go here or here because of these 2 9s. And this 9 blocks this square here. So 9 is forced into this square. We need a 4 for one of these 2 squares. And a 1, 5, 7, 9 here. 5, 9, this is a 1, 7. 9, 7, this is a 1, 5. We know that a 1 can't go in any of these squares because this 1 blocks across, this 1 blocks down, so 1 must go here or here. And since these are 7 and 9s, that leaves only 1 digit to go here, and that's a 5. So now we have a 5 here or here because this 5 blocks across, this 5 blocks up, one of these is a 5. So 1, 7, 9 here. So this is a 7, 9. I don't think I can get much closer. But this is a 9, of course, because we found a 9 here. And we have this 9 blocking up and this 9 blocking over. I wonder how long I missed this. Well, I found it now. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? Because I don't think it changes a whole lot. 2, 3, 7, 8. For some reason, I don't really find that the New York Times medium level puzzles are that much easier than their hard levels. Maybe it's just me. I'm a little intrigued by this square here because it cannot be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, or 9. So it turns out it must be a 6. This 6 blocks up, so does this, and we have got a 6 blocking across here. So this is a 6. Now we have 6 in one of these two squares here, and 3, 5, 7 for these squares. So one of these is a 3. I think we kind of knew that, didn't we? So 2 and 7 here. That means that we cannot have a 2 and a 7 here. What can we have then? We could have a 1, but not a 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 8. So guess what? Here's a 1. And we still have a 2, 7 here. Therefore, these 3 must be 9, 6, and a 3. And across here, we now only need a 5, 2, and a 7. There's a 2 and a 7 here, so the 5 is forced to this square, and we also have a 5 up here now, and a 5 therefore in one of these squares. The other two must be a 3 and a 7, so the 3 and the 5 both block this square, which therefore is a 7. Now we got 3 and 5 here, and this must be a 2. Up here, we're looking for a 1, and the 1 blocks here. So here's a 1, and here's a 2. One of these must be a 2 now. And here we're looking for a 4 and a 7. 3, 5. 9, 2. 2 blocks over. 9 here, therefore 2 here. 9 blocks across and down. So we got a 1 and a 9 in these squares, and the 9 blocks across here. So here's a 1, here's a 9. And up here, we need a 7. 3, 4, and 7 across here. Well, we know that these are 4, 7, of course. So the only question is the 3. Does it go here or here? Time will tell. 3, 8 here. Oh, by the way, the 1s. The 1s are blocked here, here, and here. So here's a 1. And that gives us this 1 down here. 3, 8, 9. We got a 9 blocking up here and a 9 blocking here. So here's a 9. Here's a 3, 8 and a 3, 8. We also need a 6 for one of these squares. 2, 7 still. And therefore 3, 6 here still. 2, 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, not 2, 7. I was asked to explain about the unique rectangle pattern. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So let me just, for the sake of explanation, input pencil marks for those. This square can only be a 2, 7. This can only be a 2, 7. This can only be a 2, 7. Let's assume that this was a 2 or a 7. It can't be, because then we would have a unique rectangle issue and the puzzle would be invalid. Because what happens is this: if this is a 7, then of course this must be a 7, this must be a 2, and this must be a 2. If this is not a 7, then it's a 2, and this is a 2, and this is a 7, and this is a 7. So it doesn't matter how you look at it, the puzzle would always be complete, so to speak, because whether the 7 or a 2 go here and here or here, we would still have a 2 and a 7 in the same row and column. So on the surface, the puzzle would be valid. It would look fine. The only problem is that that would be a puzzle with 2 solutions, and they would both be valid. And one of the rules of Sudoku is that we can only have just one valid solution to a puzzle. And that means that this particular pattern of a unique rectangle is an invalid pattern. Therefore, we know that this square here cannot be a 2 and it cannot be a 7. And since it can't be a 2 or a 7, it also cannot be a 1. It could be a 3, and it also could be a 6. yes, but not 9 and an 8. So this is a 3 or a 6. Let me get rid of the pencil marks again after having explained about the unique rectangle. So in many instances, when we see a unique rectangle and we look at the offending square, so to speak, quite often it turns out that it can only be one of the two values or a third. And in this case, we would always have to pick the third value. In this case, not the 2 and the 7. In this case, however, we have a 3 and a 6 as candidates in this cell. Therefore, we can't really do much about it yet until we find another 3 and a 6 somewhere in the puzzle. However, since we have discovered that this square cannot be a 2, 7, and this must be a 2 or a 7, and we have a 2 and a 7 blocking this square, we now know that these two squares have to be 2 and 7, making these a 3 and a 6. The 5 blocks here, the 5 blocks here and here, this 5 blocks here. So here's a 5. That is out of the way. By the way, we might as well plug in the 5 here. 2, and that makes this a 3, right? These two must be a 7 and a 6, and therefore these must be a 3 and a 4. There's a virtual 7 here because these are 2s and 7s. Therefore, this cannot be a 7, and the 7 goes here. Here, therefore, is a 6. This 6 blocks up, this blocks over. Here's a 6. Have to be a 3 and a 4. Therefore, this must be an 8. This 8 blocks across, this 8 blocks up. Here's an 8. The last square here has got to be a 3. And let's see, 2, 7, 2, 7. Yes. The 2 blocks over. Here's a 2. Here's a 7. Here's a 2. And that makes this a 7. We had a 2, 7 pair here, remember? Now we're looking for a 3, 6 here. The 6 blocks across. Here's a 3. Here's a 6. Here's a 3. Here's a 6. This, therefore, must be a 2. Only one square missing here. That's a 3. And here our 2 7s now can be resolved. We got the 7 blocking over. Here's a 2. Here's a 7. Still a 4 and a 7 here, but now the 7 blocks over, so the 4 is forced to this square and the 7 here. That makes this a 4 and this a 3. I didn't find this puzzle at all very easy, at least not much easier than the typical New York times heart Sudoku puzzle. But the more difficult, the merrier, I think. So we should all be happy. And I hope that you enjoyed it as well. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.